What is going on, race fans? Welcome to Best See the Track at the freshly repaved Atlanta Motor Speedway. This weekend, we have boots on the ground, and joining me is Georgia native Brad Harrison. Brad, it is great to have you here at Atlanta experiencing the new track, because I said earlier this week at the podcast that this track wasn't necessarily going to race as a Superspeedway. I was proven wrong. What are the drivers been saying about this track? Because there's a lot of uncertainty going into this weekend. Now that we've had practice under our belt, what are the drivers saying?
Yeah, I think you're going to find out here in a little bit. You know, each series has had one practice, get a little bit of a feel of it. When you have the full races this afternoon with the truck and the Xfinity series, you know, each series has had its one practice already. You know, ironically, the first caution during truck practice today was for flu on the track, and I think a few weeks ago, if you would have said what was going to be the first caution in practice, just these unknowns, you would have thought somebody would have been a multi-car wreck. That obviously was not the case. So a lot of unknowns. People are still trying to figure it out. But I mean, at least one or two drivers mentioned, you know, if you think Daytona and Talladega is crazy, it's going to be a cakewalk compared to what you're going to see tomorrow. I mean, I think a lot of the drivers are not sold. I think you've heard a lot of I miss go Atlanta, or you've heard a lot. You've heard some. I'm not sure this is such a good idea. So it's discovery time tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very, very exciting random racing, and how you turn that excitement, I think we're going to find out here in a little bit. You're going to find even more tomorrow afternoon. The green flag drops for the NASCAR Cup Series race.
Yeah, it's going to be, there's a lot of unpredictability, and we're seeing with the draft, it's almost like a hybrid. Like I said, we're seeing Daytona type of drafting, but this pack type of racing is different because this is a lot smaller track. And I think there is a difference between Atlanta and Daytona, where you could fit a couple Atlanta Motor Speedways within there. So, Brad, I want to discuss also, too, with the tire wear. Like I said, we saw people running over 50 laps in this session, and we've seen tires kind of playing an importance in some races, some not necessarily too. How are the tires looking, and what type of strategy would you use with your tires?
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned earlier is, until last year, it was not uncommon to see, every pit stop, the drivers were like, give me four tires. Now, you're going to see a mix of strategy tomorrow. You're going to see some guys just do fuel and some guys just take two. And that really, that was one of the things for the longest time. That's what kind of made Atlanta unique, is how much the tires got chewed up here. That factor's kind of eliminated with this new surface. Obviously, it's going to be fast. As it is any time usually that you have a new surface. So that is another factor too. Again, it's going to be a different Atlanta race than anyone's ever known. It's from the racing standpoint, and also, I mean, it's unlike some recent spring events here, for the most part, the weather is sunshine and no clouds in the sky and warm. For the most part, you think of the history of spring Atlanta races, you think it's cold and wet, and we had some rain here yesterday and washed out on practice, and because of that, they instead of having qualifying, they ran practice instead, which is practice instead qualifying anyway if they have a choice. So, speaking of practice, I know the drivers you would expect to be quick on restrictor plates or fast here. Boa Wallace is in the top 10. Ricky Stenhouse is one of the faster guys. In fact, Boa Wallace actually, they actually parked their car fairly early in practice, because it's a case where, again, like the restrictor plate track, where, you've got a good piece out here, so you don't want to do anything that's going to wad a good race car up if you feel like you can run up front with it when it really matters the most.
Yeah, like I said, tires, you could see definitely a varying strategy where you could probably see 50 to 100 lap tires just run just as fine as newer tires too. So it's going to be all about that track position, staying in that draft too. And like I said, we're having more questions answered, but like I said, this is the first 500-mile race that we're going into. Brad, we're going to start with our picks of the race, and I want to show the standings. Last weekend, we had Kevin Rutherford on the show. He had Austin Cindric, didn't have a good one. I had Denny Hamlin. Speeding penalty early on affected him. in his day. Got a 13th place finish, so I'm still ahead. So Brad, like I said, you got to get on that scoreboard. Like I said, you guys are. I'm undefeated, so I'll let you have the first pick on who do you think is going to win here at Atlanta.
I think you've got to go with Ryan Blaney. He either you go from restricted plate track to restricted plate track. He runs near the front, has a chance to win, and especially Daytona. It's crazy. It's only a few weeks ago. It seems like, but had a very realistic chance to win there. If the right thing goes his way in the end, he wins there. So I think, given that his history of on the restricted plate tracks, a lot of what you see on plate tracks, you're going to see here tomorrow. I think you got to go for 12 car this time out, and that will actually be that would be 2 spring race wins in a row here for as well. So that'd be a nice little unique place in history for him.
Yeah, so I actually asked this on our YouTube page ourselves and asked who was going to win. I had the options of Larson, Blaney, Logano, Bush, or somebody else. And surprisingly, 44% of you said that somebody else besides those 4 is not going to win here at Atlanta, which is pretty interesting of the unpredictability of Atlanta. I'm actually going to go with another option that was on that list that I mentioned, Kyle Busch. He seemed to perform well in that draft. This practice session really helped him, and he had really good long lap averages. I think he was like first in 20 lap runs and 30 lap runs. So and he starts up front too, so he has the track position. Don't be surprised if the Candyman comes in victory lane and be victorious here at Atlanta. Brad, it is great to have you here. And like I said, from everyone here at frontstretch.com, have a great race weekend and make sure to subscribe.